a wolf? It's a man. No, it's Killerfang. What's up, guys? This is just a background music, so don't mind me. As you have read on the title, we're gonna talk about the most commonly used weapons I bring to any map. If you guys are a fan of shooting games like Call of Duty, you know that you will have a bunch of loadouts to choose from depending on map. That idea is the same thing as I have made here, except this is the only loadout I use that can instantly clear a map. If I may, I would like to name this Killerfang's Loadout. Now I'm gonna explain to you in details, one by one, how little these weapons are. Starting from Spike Bat 2 stars. This weapon can deliver one shot at any normal zombie instantly. For example, on this one, you don't even have to crouch or sneak attack them. The ones that you'll have to crouch are the wolves and the piglet. Now the enemies that requires 2 shots are the following. For sneak attack, this includes the boar, infectious Simon or Austin, and lastly, Georgie. Now, in cases where you have been spotted, the enemies that can be killed with 2 shots are raiders or melee raiders and Yuri. Let's move to the next weapon. Throwing knife, no star. Now you guys are wondering, that's a weak weapon. Why would you include that in your loadout? Bruh. It's not about how big of the damage the weapon can do, but it's actually how you use it. There are 5 instances where it will be critical for you to use this weapon. The first one is low HP. Now the question is who? If the enemy's HP is below 10, you should actually end them with throwing knife instead of wasting your primary weapon's durability. Now if you're the one with low HP and you happen to run out of healing items, well then, throwing knife will become your primary weapon instead of the spike bat. This situation usually happens when you've been trapped by a horde, just like the supermarket basement. Now the second instance is infection. In cases where your infection rate is high and you run out of anti-infection items such as berry compress or bandages, you would wanna lay low from getting hit any further by the infected to avoid reaching 100% and end up alerting every enemies in the vicinity. You may simply use hit-and-step-back technique on walking enemies such as infectious zombies, rotting zombies, Bob, and others. For fast-running enemies, you can use a round-the-world technique on zombies such as Georgie, Blossom, and Trashman's brother. The guides for these techniques will be in the description below. The third instance would be when you're using a cherry-picking technique. This is basically used when you're trying to lure an enemy without alerting nearby enemies. The fourth instance would be when you alerted an enemy. Previously, we talked about which enemies you can 2-hits with your spike bat. Now, we'll talk about which enemies you can 2-hits with a combination of spike bat. The first one is boar piglet. You may use bag technique to avoid getting hit. This also works against wolves. For 3 hits, these enemies will include Georgie, the boar, and infected Simon or Austin. Now the last instance to use this is no other than Tears. Just make sure you hit it with sneak attack. Now, let's move on to second primary weapon, Crossbow. But hold it right there. Before we go any further, I want to emphasize Jane's booster stats. On the left side of the screen, this crossbow does not have Jane's booster stats. The crossbow on the top only deals 53.2 sneak attack damage. This is too low to kill melee raiders with HP of 55. The crossbow on the bottom is potent enough to kill a raider with one hit, so this is recommended for you if you don't have Jane's booster stat yet. On the right side of the screen, these crossbows have Jane's booster stats. The crossbow on top is perfectly suitable for killing raiders. Not only that, you get to craft it cheaper compared to crossbow 1-star. Beginners usually are having a hard time dealing with raiders. Unlike zombies where you can use cherry picking technique at any moment, dealing with raiders is entirely different due to the fact that when they see their ally getting hit, they will also join the fight. Next thing you know, whole squad is on you and then you die. So to solve that issue, we need to kill these raiders instantly. With appropriate crossbow, it should look a little something like this. On the other hand, veteran raiders or ranged raiders will require you to use bag technique. This is to avoid getting hit twice and also to avoid prolonging the fight, which may lead to alerting his nearby allies. Now let me show you how to massacre a raider camp. And that's how you do it. Aside from killing raiders, crossbow with bag technique is so powerful, it can kill the following enemies without you taking too much damage: Burning Georgie or Infected Georgie. Rotting Shelly. Bear or Infected Bear. And lastly, the big three! Yeah! Link of this vid will be in the description below. As for the farming tools, I would recommend the 2 stars. Why? So you don't have to craft the farming tools as often. Well, what about the 3 stars? The 3 stars require an oak wood. You don't want to do that. And as soon as you hit level 34, start crafting iron farming tools. These are used to farm oaks and stone coals, but I tell you, aim for the 2 stars. Why? Because it doubles the resources that you get from farming them. For the rest of the video, I'm gonna show the materials needed to craft for each equipment that was mentioned in the loadout. And that's how we do it. Thank you for watching, guys. As always, like and subscribe. Peace.